welcome to this week's Sunday News podcast, and we're talking everything Highlanders, Iposo, and today I'm joined by the Highlanders Media Communications Officer, that is Ronald Moyo, and then on my right is Lee Sporo Mangena, sports journalist. We're talking everything Highlanders. Obviously, the talking point these days at Highlanders is the kit. People were crying for the replica shirts, and the kit was launched a few weeks ago, and finally the replicas arrived in the country. Ronald, if you could tell us, we saw you guys you had some shirts in the names of the legends, as Madinda, British, and even the late Adamski. Just take us through the whole idea of honoring these legends.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Lee. Thank you very much, viewers. As you are rightfully saying that we honored the legends, we thought that as a club, we appreciate our legends who are actually occupy a special space in the history of the club and the history of Highlanders. So if you look at Highlanders, it's a club very, very rich with history. Some of us who just came recently, we are building onto the foundation that was laid by certain people. So it is always important to honor those people. So we thought that we honor those players who left everything on the pitch for Highlanders during their playing days. We know that Highlanders have got many legends, but it's impossible to honor them at once. So we decided that we start with three, the two living legends, Madinda and Douglas Mloyi, and of course the late Adam Adamski. For us, it was befitting to honor Adamski, given the fact that we launched that retail shop on the 17th. A day after the anniversary of his passing on. So we thought that we should then honor him by presenting that jersey to the Mloyi family, to appreciate the son that they gave to Highlanders, to appreciate the asset that they gave to Highlanders in the form of Adam Mloyi. We know that Adam Mloyi was a key player for Highlanders during his playing days. We also saw him when he was coaching Chikenini, that he was a potential coach. He was a man of talent, so we thought that it was befitting to honor him.
Then coming to that shop, we're talking about the retail shop, we're talking about the retail, and then they're also selling the replicas at the office and even at clubhouse. How is the response from the people? People have been crying for these replicas for years. Where are the posted replicas? How are the sales going? Are they flying off the shelves? Are people stampeding to grab the black and white shirts?
I might say that we are happy with the numbers that we are getting now in terms of people are buying our replica jerseys. I don't have the actual numbers at the moment because people are actually buying numbers, but on average we sell about 30 pieces a day. So for us, that's a very, very positive start, given the fact that most people are struggling in terms of the economy to make ends meet, but the fact that we are getting an average of about 20 to 30 buyers per day from our office alone, that speaks volumes, because remember we've got retail outlets. We talked about iSports, which is here in Bulawayo. Then we've got Better Hope, which is found in in most parts of the country. They are also selling, so we don't know their numbers. We haven't checked their numbers. So here I'm just speaking about the numbers that we are getting here at Highlanders. And we also on the 21st officially opened the online shop where people are also buying online. So we haven't brought together those numbers to see the actual number of people who are buying our replicas per day. But from what we have seen from people who are buying from us, we are very, very happy with the numbers. We are very, very grateful to the supporters for the support, because that process of buying shows a certain degree of loyalty and love for the club. So I think we so far so good. We can't complain. We are good.
To Lee, if you could, how is the How's the mood in the streets about this new Highlanders kit?
Yeah, people are really excited, really, and like you said earlier on, that people pushed for clubs like Highlanders, Dynamos, and Kitchener to also make money via selling replicas. It's a good move. We saw it. People accepted it. What they've seen in the papers since the launch and all that, but there are question marks also. Right? You said you donated. You honored Matinda. You honored Adam and other legends by giving them jerseys that are written their names. Overseas, they don't just sell replicas that are blank at the back. They also sell replicas that have names and numbers of their heroes. How come we're not seeing that? Let's say Prince Dube was still at Highlanders. How come we're not seeing Prince Dube and his number out there in the streets? Yes, maybe I would want to buy a jersey that is blank and then I can have Mangena written at the back. But what if I want Dube on my back?
Okay, so let me answer you without preempting our strategy. So these are some of the things that we are considering. But I think we also need to be realistic of the nature of our football at the moment. Very few, if you look at all Zimbabwean clubs, very few clubs have been able to keep a squad of players for a period of over a year or 2 years or so. So it's something that is, from a business perspective, maybe if we can maybe make a limited edition, which is something, as I said, that we don't want to preempt our strategy. But it's impossible for us, for instance, Man United can make tons and tons of, a poor budget. They know that by the end of the season, they would have sold, that jersey. But here in Zimbabwe, you have, fans who are conflicted. They want themselves at the back. They also want their favorite players. But when it comes to their buying power, they are limited. So you don't want to push an idea where at the end of the day, you will end up finishing a season with the loads and loads of, a Peter Mudua jerseys. And next thing is his contract expires and he moves, then that becomes a loss. So as we say that those are ideas that are in the shelf, but some of these things are dependent on the ecosystem, on our football ecosystem, because the problems that I'm actually saying are not only problems that are facing Highlanders, but all the clubs who have not been able to keep players for a long period of time. Plus the pace at which replicas are moving. Now we're talking about people buying, they are playing, which they are personalizing, but we're getting an average of 30 per day. We are not guaranteed, and from what we do is actually informed by the research that we conduct.
Is the peppermint peppermint green available as a replica?
No, it's not yet. It's not yet available. But as I said, that in everything that we do, we are informed by the research, by the market demands. But I'm happy to say we might have it in future because of the demand that we're getting for that product. People are demanding it in numbers, and for us, it will make sense. It will make sense for us to to bring that to the market so that we respond to a certain section of the market. So by bringing those numbers, what we are doing, we are diversifying the market. We know that Highlanders has already read the market, of those who like Samawa, the black and white, who happen to be staunch fans who wants to take, that pride with them wherever they go, even to the pitch where they want to look black and white, like the players who are playing inside the field. But if we limit ourselves to those numbers, we are limiting ourselves even in terms of brand growth and even in terms of making money, because what we sell as a club is not, we don't sell colors. We sell the brand, we sell the badge. So people like different colors. People love different colors. I think we've seen it even in European clubs. That's why you see that they change colors season after season. So they're speaking to those alternative markets.
Talking about peppermint green, that is on the lips of the Highlanders, supporters these days. Where did the whole idea come from? Because it's not any of the Highlanders colors. Where did that come from?
Yeah, by the way, when our technical sponsors are working on our kits, we are hands-on. We discuss, we give them designs, we approve certain things, we approve certain colors and so forth. So for us, that is, we wanted, a conversation because for us that is not. If you see that training kit, it's not blue as most people are claiming. It's peppermint green. Yeah, it's close to green than blue if you're looking at it. I know that most people might have seen a picture that had, a poor quality and so forth. But for you who was present during the, on the day of the launch, you might have seen that color is not anywhere close to Dynamo's colors. So it's peppermint green. So we wanted that kind of conversation. We want to bring a variety of colors, and that day we just launched 2 colors when it comes to training kits, which was peppermint green and red, but we've got lime green and so forth. There are a whole lot of colors that we want to play around in terms of our playing kits, our, especially our away kits in the future, and our training kits, as a way of diversifying the market. For me, what I found interesting about that color was that it was going to initiate a conversation, and it did. Yeah, so, and in terms of marketing, in terms of branding, we have achieved the objectives.
So what is the response? We've seen the fans react via your Facebook, your WhatsApp and all that.
Yes.
According to the response, I'm going to be honest, I thought majority gave it a thumbs down. What's you and your technical partners take going forward?
Okay, then maybe it depends with the space or where you are sitting. For us, the majority okayed it. Yeah, for us, the majority okayed it. And as I said, that even if you look at numbers, I'll give you a simple example. When Manchester United launched their stripe, their black and white stripe, which people have, nicknamed zebras, you might have thought that the majority are rubbish in that kit. But when you look at the Manchester United sales now, that kit is up there. So for us, what matters is, at the end of the day, is the bottom line, the money, who wants to buy what. And if we can, in the first 2 days, we got, the last time, we even stopped counting, because we had already 10 in the first 2 days. We had, when we stopped counting at 10, 10 people already saying, I want this peppermint green, I want this peppermint. So just imagine if you can maybe say it's a limited edition and bring in 200 replicas of peppermint green, and people buy that, for the sake of looking different, of having something that looks different from the obvious black and Highlanders black and white. Because if you look at football, what we say, football is a business, but we tend to neglect the fashion sense of it. Go to and do a research about Juventus, what they did in the last 5 years or so. They even went to a point of repackaging their logo. They took a fashion sense. If you look at Juventus now, the amount of money that they are making, go and look at their merchandise package. You will see there are a lot of different crazy colors. And something that I found interesting is that when I was reading, I found one article that was actually saying that people were actually resistant. Juventus people actually resisted when Juventus started taking that route, that direction, where they were saying that this is no longer the Juventus that we know Juventus with the black and white and so forth. But now look at what they can now they could even afford to buy Cristiano Ronaldo because of the money that that they are generating, because they've accepted that football is a business, and if football is a business, we cannot overlook the fashion sense of it. So if we can, for that peppermint green, for instance, if we can bring at least 200 limited editions, and they are all sold at the end of the day, that is money that is going to Highlanders. Because I must not assume that, I must confess that myself, I'm not a fan of that color. If you open my wardrobe, I don't have a t-shirt with that kind of a color. But what we should not do in terms of marketing and so forth, you should not assume that what you don't like, the next person doesn't like. So that's why we segment the market. So say we've got the market of the black and white, we've got, we have to speak to the market for this particular color, for this particular color. That's why you see that even European football, for instance, we know that if you look at the British football, if you were to talk about the Arabs in Britain, the first thing that they think of terrorists. But look at how they've invested in British football. Look at how even in terms of kits, in terms of replica, how they are responding to that Arabic market. Look at the Manchester City kits. All those crazy colors that you are seeing, they are speaking to the Asian market.
then the pricing. Our anchor here is putting on, that's Watford, right?
Yes.
Over the years, some Highlanders fans have been buying teams that have similar colours to Highlanders. Juventus that you were mentioning, maybe Watford, but unfortunately it's my first time actually. Newcastle,
Yeah.
yes, and even Orlando Pirates to come and cheer Highlanders on. On top of that, there's the fake jerseys that are coming in from Tanzania. Then there's also the cotton ones that are printed in backyards.
Okay.
How much have you gone in trying to snuff out, especially those that come up with knockoff Highlanders products?
Okay. It's something that is going to be difficult, but I must say that we'll have to take legal action. We have to be on our toes, because in actual sense, we are not going to compete with the products that you are talking about. I'll give you two simple examples. One is the quality. The quality is not good quality compared to what we bring for our fans. Point number two, those people smuggle those products, so they don't come through official channels, so they don't pay duty. So at the end of the day, you will see that their production and lending costs might be maybe 5 times, 6 times lesser than what we incur as a club. We're a club, we're an official institution. We cannot be seen smartly, evading duty. So we have to go through proper channels. So all that then contributes to the pricing at the end of the day. So that's why we're saying that the actual price of the product, when people were asking how much was going to be the replica, just because the consignment was not yet cleared at the border. That's when we kept on saying that it is going to be determined by the lending cost. Because at the end of the day, it then makes no point to say we want to make replica jerseys whilst you are incurring a negative profit. As you said, that we then have to deal with those others. I think it's just a matter of trying to patronize our fans as we move on, to tell them that we have always seen Highlanders in the past, although we are slowly, hopefully by next year, we're moving away from that culture of the begging bow culture, which have been synonymous with Highlanders. If someone can just take his money and say, I'm donating to Highlanders, I think it shouldn't be a challenge for that particular person to be convinced that you can now donate to Highlanders by buying the original replica jerseys, and you get them from point A, B, C, D, rather than buying from the street. You are not sponsoring Highlanders by so doing. I think it's another strategy that we intend to use, and of course the legal action will then take legal action against those who will be selling fake replicas.
Let's take you back to the peppermint green. The idea came from Highlanders, or came from the technical sponsor who then sold it to Highlanders? Let's just get it clear there.
Yeah, the idea came from the technical sponsor in terms of colors, and we accepted that. We accepted that. As I said, that everything that they do, even the black and white, the stripe, that one, it was something that was mutually agreed. So there is nothing that came that was imposed on Highlanders. It's something that those are all the things that we discussed, and the conclusion was reached. There was a mutual agreement between two parties to say this is what we want. Even in terms of the objectives, what that we want to achieve with peppermint green. We want to create conversation, and created that conversation. So it is something that was mutually agreed between both parties.
Then the team has been training for the past weeks, and we've just been told that Mandla Lulumpofu is the coach going forward, with Mark Harrison not coming back. What has changed? It was the same Lulu who got Highlanders into the relegation zone last season, and then you had to bring in Peter Young. What has really changed? Does the club think that you will bring better results this time around?
I think it would be unfair on the part of Mandla to say he's the one who brought it to relegation. Because remember, when Mandinda left, the club was already facing relegation. And if my statistics serves me well, Mandla Mpofu played, he was in charge for about 6 games, and he lost 3. He won 2 and drew 1. No, he played 7, he drew 2, lost 3, and won 2. So it's there is the club leadership at Highlanders, we believe in giving people chance. If you look at Highlanders when Peter Thiong came, there was a general feeling within the institution, even at the players themselves, that we were just about, to turn around things, and we still feel that if they are given time, the coaches, they're given time, they can be up to the task, they can produce those results. We still remember when the last three matches that he was in charge, that was against Mshowani, against Wange, and Bulawayo Chiefs. We drew against Wange, we drew against Mshowani, we drew against Wange, then we won against Bulawayo Chiefs, and we were already seeing that he was just lucky away from getting positive results. So as the chairman said, he was given a performance-based contract. I think it's fair that you give people a chance to prove themselves. So we as a club wish Mandla and his technical staff all the best.
Sporo, do you think that Mandla can turn around the Highlanders? Last season he was replaced by Dion. Do you think that he's got what it takes to take Highlanders to?
He's done well elsewhere, away from Highlanders. That's why originally maybe on the streets what people said, they actually thought maybe they would prefer Super ahead of Mandla, because Super maybe understands the Highlanders culture. But Mandla has done well at Real Stars, Mandla has done well at Chicken Inn and all that. I'm thinking maybe second time lucky, it could be different from like the stats that he just mentioned, that he lost 3, he drew 2, and 1-2.
1-3 actually.
1-3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One against Black Rhinos, Chafungu, Bulawayo Chiefs.
Yeah, but
lost to Cape United, Harare City, and
the problem with the Highlanders' job is that that's a what seat right there. You are judged by many quarters. Executive might have faith in you, but the Mpilo, what you call it, the swimming pool end, guys, if they dislike something, that just distracts you. With even a very good coach can easily be distracted. I was talking to Bongani Mafu the other times, he was recounting the last time that he was there at Highlanders, and the guys at Soweto end, the way they used to sing about him after every game lost, or they would even follow him to the dressing room. So Manda at least now knows how the atmosphere is like. So he just has to slap up his boots and get those results. And I hope also the club will also allow him to sign those players that he wants. Yes, if he gets the right arsenal, he might succeed. But without Prince Dube having gone, he definitely needs to just look for a Prince Dube replacement here.
Okay. Well, interesting discussions that we had about Highlanders. It was today. I'd like to thank my panelists here, that is Ronald Moyo and Lee Sporo Mangena. Well, till next time, keep on tuning into Sunday News podcast.